Okay, so in this episode we're going to look at putting in the engine and the cockpit. So let's just bring our view back, and the guns and the wing. We need to now do the engine. So let's have a look at a reference for the engine. So it's basically a big cylinder by the looks of it. Yeah, they are big cylinders, and there's a little triangular shaped wedge as well. So let's have a look at building that. So we'll do the same thing that we did for the cannons. We'll make sure we're clicked off of everything, and then we'll add a mesh cylinder, and again we'll leave it at that. We'll add a mirror modifier in the Y and Z plane, and we'll go into edit mode, and we'll pull that across and up just to separate them all, and we'll scale them down, and then we'll press RY90 to rotate them 90 degrees in the Y-axis. Let's scale them down further and then start moving them into position. So they come, looking at this, they extend just beyond the wing, so that's definitely too big. So let's scale it down a bit, probably something like that, maybe a bit smaller. And they sort of, from what I can see, they sort of just rest on the wing like that, perhaps. I think that will be good enough for this model. So it's not quite symmetrical the way I've got it set up. Let me just hide this plane, the top plane. So it's not quite right. So let me go into this object again. Let me just separate them a little bit more. And then let me just go and move them both. So they're both, yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah, I think that's pretty close. Okay, so they do extend a little bit beyond the wings. And I'm not sure how far back they come. So let me just have a little look at a reference picture. Have we got a decent reference picture from the back? Maybe that one will do. Oh, it's from Fortnite, don't look. But it looks like it comes not just past halfway, and then we've got this other little cylinder here. So let's go back. Let us just put this in. I think it probably comes to about there, maybe. I'm only guessing at this point. That looks reasonable. And then I think what we'll do is we will, how best to do this, I think we're going to extrude this shape down here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get this line here at the bottom, and we'll push it up, and we'll just bring it out like this. And if it intersects a little bit with the wing, that's fine. I don't mind. Does it actually come out that far? So it looks like that only extends as far as the wing. So we ought to really fix that. The quickest, easiest way to fix this, and sometimes this is where you've got to think a little bit, is let's push that all the way, oops, I clicked off of it. Let's push that all the way back to the edge of the wing, and then let's click on this and extrude that. There we go. And is there anything special about this engine? It does have some internal geometry. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to inset it a little bit, extrude it inwards a little bit, and I will probably manually create a little vein there. I'm just wondering, see, there's so many different ways we could do this. Don't know why I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to inset this and extrude it to create that inner surface, and then all I'm simply going to do is extrude. Actually, I'm going to push this back in and extrude it again. I'm going to get this and this. It's a pity it's rotated slightly in the wrong way for what I want, but I could cheat. I could cheat a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and rotate this so it's a little bit more how I would like it. I would like it more like that. And that's okay. The geometry's still got flat planes. It's fine. It's going to be all dark in there. You won't see it. It's a bit of a hack, but it's fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to get these two, and I'm going to use the extrude individual, and I'm just simply going to do a vein through there like that. And if it sticks out too much, I'm just going to move it in a bit. Oops, I forgot to select that one. There. And I'm literally going to leave it at that. That will do. That will do. I'm not going to spend too long on doing that. Next thing then is the back. Let's have a look at the back. So we did have a picture down here. It's basically a cylinder with a jet engine on the back. So this one. Let's do a inset, and this time we're going to move it, so it doesn't matter about the way the geometry is here. That's absolutely fine. Let me scale it up a bit, and then we'll extrude. And as you can see from the side view, so view, viewport, let's do the right view. Whoops, that's the wrong one. It's because I changed them. Let's do the front view. As you can see, this is way off, but the length is correct, so I'm probably going to leave that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, why is it so far off? I wonder if I've just moved it up too high. If you feel like you've moved it up too high, just literally go back, undo it and put it back. Maybe that's better. Again, I'm guessing at the length. I'm not interested in it being perfect. I'm going to extrude, click, instead of extruding it, I've extruded it with 0 length, and then I can scale it, extrude it, inset it, extrude it, and scale it. And if I do want to include a bit of detail in the engine, I can inset it and extrude it inwards, and there, that's the basic engine is done. So I think we'll just do the cockpit, and then that will be wrapped up and completed. So the other thing I've noticed about this X-Wing is it should be almost a let me just hide it first of all. It should be have this seam running down the middle, and it doesn't. So let's pop that seam in there. So let's click on, make sure we've not selected anything, click on this ship object, and then let's go into edit mode. So we've got the ship selected in edit mode. I'm going to try and put a loop cut around the whole thing like this, and the reason we've got that is I'm then going to press S to scale, and it will scale it outwards. Now it is probably going to cause a bit of distortion. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do it a little bit. I'm going to do it a little bit. Scale. Whoa, 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 whoa. So let's just, I'm using this to do it individually in the different axes, so I only want to scale it a small amount in some axes. So that doesn't look too bad, it's not perfect. If I want to then come into select, select off there, I could, you know, start pulling individual bits out. If I want it to have more shape like this, I could actually start bringing that in a bit more, and that in a bit more, giving it a bit more shape. Even this I could probably bring in a little bit, and you can play about with it and start, you know, getting a bit more shape to it. That looks better. Let's get this cockpit done and finished. So let me just have a look at a reference picture. So it does go up a little bit and then down. So I'm probably just going to do this in my own way, but I'm going to use a loop cut for the center part there, and I'm going to use a loop cut for the end part there. I'm going to start off by just I'm just going to literally take this, just click off that, take this line here, and I'm going to just see how it looks if I just put a cockpit in like that. And I know that looks a bit odd, but once it's textured, I think that'll probably look okay. I am, however, going to use the knife tool for this. So I'm going to click here, click here, click here, press enter. And now what that's allowed me to do is I've got an extra piece of geometry I can work with if I want to just bring that in there. And I think that's probably a lot closer to what it should be. So that's the cockpit done. We just need the very back part done, and I honestly don't know what that looks like. It looks like it's I don't think it's exactly the same ship, but it just looks like a hollow. Always trust the Lego models to have good 360 vision. Yeah, I think we'll just go with this. It's just sort of an inset hexagon. So we'll do the same thing. I'm just going to select that and pull that in a bit too. Just check it doesn't do anything bad. And actually that's better because it moves it away from that engine. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I'm just going to move that in as well. There we go. So that's just moved the body away from the engine a bit, give it a bit more shape. These wings still are not right. They're still not right in the right place. Something's not quite right with this line. I am going to move it up a bit, and I'm also going to move that vertex up a bit. Things are not quite right there, but see, this one's gone way off. And what I was talking about before is the seams. Make sure you've got clipping on for that, and it should snap to it. Yeah, I think we'll just get this done. So I'm going to hide the I'm going to hide the reference models now, side and top, and let's just work on this back piece. So let's go into face mode, and then I'm going to inset this. Now you'll see that it's created this bar down the middle, and there are different ways of getting rid of this. One quick way is to just push it that way a little bit and get rid of it, and then select these two edges here and move them this way back, and then what will happen is when you try and extrude it inwards, oh, we can't extrude it too far, because of the wing. That's the problem of making the wings go through the body. Let's just do it a tiny bit, and then let's cheat because we can, and extrude these out. Now what we've got is we've got a little bit of a problem here with this vein, an extra polygon, so we actually need to delete that. And we've got another one here, X faces, so that will delete that polygon, and we need to do the same here, X faces. We don't want these extra faces in, and you have to be careful when you're using the mirror modifier that you don't get any geometry, and sometimes it's actually best to go inside your model, which you can do, and have a look. We do seem to have, what is this? We do seem to have something inside there. Oh, it's probably that. So yeah, just be careful that you don't have stuff going in your model. If you can't see, go into wireframe mode, and you can see there, look, I have got some sort of face going on in the middle, which we don't want, and you can click on the internal faces just to make sure it is an internal face. So I don't quite know how that's happened, but it has. So let's just delete it and go back into solid mode. You don't want the internal faces, and if I was doing this as a proper game model, I'd probably be a little bit more careful. Yeah, I've done something weird here, look. As you can see here, I didn't obviously have clipping on, and I've done something strange to the front of that ship. But oh no, it's okay now. So just be careful with that. But I think that's concluded making a basic X-wing using reference materials. So reference materials are incredibly helpful. They allow you to model something to the correct shape and proportion. It's a really good practice to get into, having a go at making some different objects with this. Obviously you don't have to follow it along exactly, and in many cases you can't. It's just a guide. Would recommend having lots and lots of images on standby, preferably on a separate monitor or something. But overall it's a good way of, you know, getting things down, getting things done. I might do another little mini series on this ship. I might actually start UVing it and then texturing it. That is probably a longer process than the modeling. So texturing and UVing is a very long process. Of course you could also animate the ship and animate those wings coming back together. That would also be fine, but for now you've got a little starship, and if it was a small ship in a game, that would be plenty enough detail for you know, if they're on the screen and they're looking small like that, that is plenty of detail. When they have proper materials and textures on, it could look pretty good. So right, okay, that'll do for now then. Plenty long enough, that video, sorry about that.